Yesterday we saw the principles and we also saw the tools. Now what I have to figure out is how they work together. My name is Javi and I can draw, and this is how to draw fashion design. So instead of trying to waste everyone's time and draw on the screen, I did a lot of drawings because what I wanted to do was separate each and every one of the principles and try to see which of the tools were the ones that were going to work better with each of the principles. So I want to show you, well, let's go to the screen. So here what we have is just some small model just standing there in contrapposto, just there naked, and that is the model I'm going to use to draw all the clothes. I already drew some of the clothes and it's going to be here, and the first principle that I want to work with is balance and proportion, because they're two separate principles, but I think that they work in the same way. And the tools that work with balance and proportion are the lines and the relation between the shapes. Now, the easiest way to do this, as I started, was to think about, well, the best way to get balance is to be symmetrical. So I tried to be symmetrical. I started using these diagonal lines to get all this. Why is this not loading? There it is. And then for a bit of contrast, I used this, and that's fairly easy. And then I said, like, well, but what about that's with lines, but what about shape relations? So I started doing this thing. And I said, like, well, does it work without something as equally as big, or as like, if there's going to be this thing on top, is there's going to be something like that on the bottom? Does it need it or not? And this is fairly ridiculous, and I was exaggerating, but you can tell that without anything, it looks like so heavy on the top. It doesn't look balanced at all. So that's what it means with shape relations, because even though this is super sketchy, you can see that there is a relation between these two shapes, like this bell here and this big skirt here, and this repetition, and you can work with that. So for lines, this is an example for lines that I could think of, and this is an example for a shape, in order to get some harmony and get some balance. No, not harmony. Harmony comes later. I'm referring about balance, and I'm referring about proportion. Now, the second one is rhythm, and rhythm is achieved through repetition. And this is also shape repetition or line repetition, and these two really quick examples are, well, very easy ways. Because as you can see, since I'm a beginner at this, I didn't work with like two different garments, but I just worked with one big dress and tried to work on top of it to see what was going on, to work with the shapes. And, well, repetition. And you can see that this is repetition, and there's this that starts getting smaller, and there's a contrast between, it's black, white, and it starts getting longer the more to the bottom you go. And in this particular case, it's kind of the same. I use these shapes here, and then I use them down here, and I started getting larger and larger and larger in order to work some rhythm into the repetition, because rhythm doesn't mean that the shape has to be the same all the time, but it can go like stretching like these two. You know what I mean? And maybe it's just not growing in size like in these two examples, but maybe it's just a line that is just as thick all the time, but starts distancing between each other. That's also another example of rhythm. The next one is going to be emphasis. And emphasis is like super easy, because the easiest way to achieve emphasis, as I could find, is through color. Because if you see here, you're working with this, and if you see this shape, the thing that most catches your eye is going to be this scarf that I did here. And if you're looking at this one, the thing that is going to catch your eye is going to be this one. But color is not the only way to achieve this emphasis. You can also do it by shape and by using lines, directing all the lines to whatever it is you want to put the emphasis on. So in this particular case, I was trying to work it with the belt. I said, like, because I was going to do something with the chest, but it's like, it's pretty easy to get all the lines to go to the center of the chest. So I thought, like, well, what about the belt? So I started doing something like really loose with texture, but I wanted all these lines from the cloth to go to the belt here, and I don't know if I got it right, But, well, you know, this is why I'm learning to get it right. But I think that it still works in its own way. And finally, this one is harmony. And the thing about harmony is that it is pretty abstract, because it is not something that you can just, you know, point, like for example with shape or with lines or whatever, because you have to use a combination between shapes and color palettes and texture, and it is, you know, in order to achieve harmony, you have to put a mixture between balance, a mixture between, rhythm. It's a thing. So the only thing that I can think about doing is like maybe trying to get a better color combination here. So for harmony, I did this thing that looks like it is super simple, and I don't know if it is exactly what, you know, the text and everything I read meant for harmony, but I tried to establish this color palette. So I have this, like the jacket is going to be the one with the stronger color, this one is going to be the one with dark color, and this one is going to be like fairly muted. The shirt is going to be fairly muted, but you know, I work with the shapes because since this jacket is a bit loose and broadens the shoulder of my model just a bit, I decided that maybe the best thing was to also do a broad skirt to work with that. It adds also a little bit of weight, and harmony is unity. Harmony is a pretty abstract thing because, well, if you think the most logical example will be like a pantsuit, or when people dress with just one color, and sure, that's harmony, that's unity, but what's the fun in that? That's not what I want to do. If I wanted to do, I wouldn't be doing these videos. But that's as far as I got. And it's silly because like you're watching this in a very, very short video, but I spent the last 3 hours trying to get this right. Like I have other examples that I want to show you. Now I don't really want to show them to you, but I have like this when I was trying to strike for balance, but it's all going to one side, it's all falling to the dark sleeve. And then I did this one to try to find some rhythm and some harmony in the color, but I don't know. And then I tried to do this one because I was trying to find if there were some defining lines in the human body that I should use as guideline. And even though they are, well, I didn't like to work with them, I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't know if I have some extra, like I have, well, these like shorts and the shirt, and then I have this thing. They're not very good, but still, but now that I know which principle goes with which tool, I think that it's going to be more easy to move from this point forward. Now, from the tools that you can use in order to like create a garment, I didn't use texture and I didn't use value. Well, I did use value in all of those black and white things, and I did use value in this harmony thing when you think about it, because I was thinking about darkening the skirt to give some prominence to the jacket and whatnot, and I didn't include texture because, you know what, I'm still not there, so I didn't want to mess it up. But well, tomorrow comes a new challenge to keep on learning this thing. So now my challenge is going to be how to not just do like this kind of dresses that I've been doing, but actually try to figure out how to create like streetwear, you know, like some jean and a jacket and a shirt, and make it look good and make it look, you know, original, some casual streetwear. That's what I want to work with. That's my goal for the week, actually. Well, but that is going to be tomorrow, not today. Now I need to rest. So that's going to be it for today. My name is Javi and I can draw. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!